A CBS News New York Times poll out tonight finds most Americans believe race relations in this country are bad. More than half of whites think so, and more than 2/3 of blacks. Even more troubling, 40% of blacks and whites believe race relations are getting worse. And this may be one reason our poll found big majorities, 60% of whites and 71% of blacks, believe most Americans are uncomfortable discussing race with someone of another race. Tonight, Elaine Quijano tells us about a group that is helping blacks and whites break down the racial wall by breaking bread together.
It starts out like any other dinner party.
Thank you, that's great, I appreciate it.
But then a difficult conversation begins.
Blacks don't trust white people by and large.
I didn't have any black friends. I mean, a couple of acquaintances. I never had them in our home, never been in their homes.
They call themselves Chattanooga Connected, a group of blacks and whites who meet once a month to have dinner and talk openly about race.
Then we are different.
But when I first came to the group, I was a little skeptical at first.
I grew up in a very white neighborhood.
We are segregated by every facet of our lives.
They didn't want to have anything to do with me. She married a black man.
They were brought together by 75-year-old Franklin McCallie, a son of privilege whose family name is seen everywhere in this town. He says he was raised to believe in the South's segregationist order.
Did you used to use the N-word?
I've used the N-word, and I told some in-jokes. They were less. They lived in less homes. They got off the street. They said sir to me as a young man.
But in college, a conversation with a student from a nearby African-American school changed everything.
He said, you know where we eat lunch? My uncles and I, who fought in World War II for freedom and justice and pursuit of happiness, we get on a bus and we ride 2 miles out of town to eat lunch because none of the stores we shop in will let us eat.
Does it ever get uncomfortable, these discussions here?
I think it's liberating because it was so freeing for the first time in my life to have a black man tell me what it really felt like to be walking around in a grocery store or a mini mart and have the owner of the mini mart following him around up and down the aisles because he didn't trust him. I had never thought about that.
How does something like this even begin to chip away at some of the other barriers that African Americans face?
If it all stops at this house, it won't do that much more. It's got to go other places.
Finally seeing people by talking face to face. Elaine Quijano, CBS News, Chattanooga, Tennessee.